Hello, welcome to another Story Lab. Today we are going to be doing story grammar again. And that means we get to bring back Forgetful Ed. So, poor Forgetful Ed, remember, he's not very good at remembering what happens in a story. So when I'm reading my book, you're going to need to help Forgetful Ed remember what happens at the very end. And this time I'm going to make it more trickier for you because I'm going to draw pictures of what happened in this story, but I'm not going to tell you the order this time. You're going to have to tell your mommies and daddies so that I can tell Forgetful Ed here at my home, okay? So Forgetful Ed's going to go right here so he can listen along, and I am going to go ahead and read. The book we're reading today is called Curious George's Dinosaur Discovery. The author is Margaret H.A. Rays. Okay, so let's see. Forgetful Ed. Remember, you need to think about what happens in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end of this story. And you're going to need to help us remember too, okay, friends? So here we go. This is George. He was a good little monkey and always very curious. George loved to go places with his friend, the man in the yellow hat. One of their favorite places was the Dinosaur Museum. Today is a special day, George's friend said. We are going to do something very interesting. George was curious. What could be more interesting than a trip to the Dinosaur Museum? The man with the yellow hat led the way through the museum. George wanted to stop and look at the dinosaur bones, but his friend kept going, so George kept following. Finally, they walked right out the back door. A van was waiting for them outside. "Climb in, George," said the man with the yellow hat. George looked out the window as the van drove off. Where could they be going? At last, the van reached a rocky quarry. Dozens of people were there. Some were digging with shovels. Others were using pickaxes or other kinds of tools. "Surprise," George's friend said. "We're going to help the museum and scientists dig for dinosaur bones." George was curious. Were there really dinosaurs buried in the quarry? He ran over for a better look. "Hello," said a friendly scientist. "Are you here to help with the dig?" George watched the scientist's work. She dug up the dirt and put it into a sifting pan. It took a long time to sift it, and in the end, no dinosaur bones. "Oh well," she said, "time to try again." So it looks like she's putting the dirt into this pan, and when she shakes it, the dirt comes out, and she has to look to find if there's any bones. Pretty interesting, right? But the next pan was empty too. So was the next one, and the one after that. George yawned. So far, digging for bones was not as exciting as he'd expected. George was curious. Could he help find the dinosaur bones? He found a spare shovel lying nearby. He dug and dug, but didn't find any dinosaurs. When he climbed out of his hole, George spotted another scientist. He was dusting something with a small brush. "Oh well," the scientist said, "not a bone, just a rock." George wanted to help. He picked up a brush and went to work. But it turns out the monkeys are not very good at digging. He hurried away from the cloud of dust, and George bumped into a wheelbarrow. Maybe there were dinosaur bones in that. He climbed up to look inside, but the wheelbarrow was awfully tippy. Crash! George, the wheelbarrow, and a whole lot of dirt went flying. "Hey," someone cried. "What's that monkey doing?" George scampered away, straight up a cliff. Monkeys are good at climbing, so George kept going higher and higher. When he got to the top, he accidentally knocked a stone over the edge. And that stone hit another stone, which hit another stone, and another. Oh no, it was a rock slide. The man with the yellow hat called for George to come down. George wanted to climb down, but he was afraid the scientists would be angry with him. But the scientists didn't look angry. "Look," one cried, pointing. "Look at that! Look what that monkey just uncovered." George could hardly believe what he saw. Dinosaur bones! After that, the dinosaur dig was even more fun. George helped the scientists dig and sift and dust and take photographs of the bones he had found. And the next time the man with the yellow hat visited the dinosaur museum, George got to see his dinosaur on display. Well, I loved that book. My favorite part was when George almost made a big mess, but then it found out he really just found some dinosaur bones. That was so much fun. Now remember, your job was to think about what happened in the book so we can help Forgetful Ed remember. Okay? Are you ready to start Forgetful Ed? Oh, he says he's ready. So here we go. I'm going to put him here, and I'm going to show you the cards that I made. Okay? So this is a picture of George on the cliff, and he's making some of those rocks fall down. This is a picture of George trying to dig for some bones, but he only found rocks. This is a picture with George finding out that he found the dinosaur bones, and he is super happy that he saw all the bones on display in the museum. And this is a picture of George going to the quarry, and he saw the scientist digging, right? And he went and tried to help her. So, as you can see here, I have 4 things, right? 4 events. We have George knocking things off the cliff. We have George trying to help the scientist dig. We have George finding the dinosaur bones and feeling happy because they're in the museum. And we have George trying to dig on his own and only finding a rock. So those are 4 things. Your job is at home to tell your mommies and daddies what order these go in. And now I know last time I did it for you here in the video with Forgetful Ed. You need to remember yourself this time. So tell somebody at your house what order those go in, and then they can let me know how you do. Good luck and have fun. And just as one last glance, here are the pieces. You've got this.